We hope you were blessed. Catch you again next Monday morning right here for another edition of Let the Word Speak on NRP Radio. God bless. Take care now.
Radio listener, you've just listened to another in the series, Let the Word Speak, with
Elder Dwight Gordon out of Canada.
Join us again next time round, when we'll have for you another in the series. Do have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep on being blessed.
This is NRP, the Big Bad Gospel Radio Station.
This is NRP.
News, GIS News. A roundup of government lead stories for the week.
The government has paid out $1.1 billion in judgment debt for the 2024-25 fiscal year. Addressing the meeting of the Standing Finance Committee in Gordon House on March 6, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck outlined that there are sufficient funds to cover debts where persons have sued the government.
We have another 300 million. We can satisfy all the judgment debt. We are extremely happy with the fact that all our mediators are being paid, facilitators, funds are there to satisfy all the obligations of the Ministry of Justice.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says Jamaica's healthcare system has grown stronger and more resilient since the COVID-19 pandemic. Addressing the unveiling ceremony for the Healthcare Workers COVID-19 Monument, Dr. Holness outlined that the government has assessed the resilience of the economy since the pandemic, and as the economy has become more resilient, it has allowed for spending on infrastructure upgrades, remuneration, and staff training.
The pandemic did expose us to serious challenges, but we were able to respond. And the response was not just to the pandemic. The response continues even now. And we have been able to increase investment in healthcare significantly. This means that the next time Jamaica faces a crisis, and there will be another crisis, we just don't know what it is going to be or when it will be, but whenever it is, we are in a better position to respond to crises.
The government, through the Student Loan Bureau, will begin offering a longer payment period on student loans as of September 1, 2025. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Favour Williams made the disclosure during her opening presentation in the 2025-2026 budget debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Tertiary students will now have a 10-year repayment period instead of the current 7 and 5 years on existing loans.
The rates will remain the same, meaning the rates will not increase because the payment period has increased. We are starting with that one step and will work rapidly to ensure the systems are in place to roll out the new loan offerings to make the lives of our tertiary students better and allow them to focus on attaining their educational goals to benefit themselves, their families, and Jamaica as a whole.
Minister Williams also reiterated the government's commitment to improving the offerings from the SLB by the beginning of the school year in September 2026. And the Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ is now collecting as much as 80% of its revenue through online platforms. Commissioner General Ainsley Powell says the development is welcome as it has significantly reduced the number of business customers visiting TAJ's offices to complete transactions such as filing of income tax returns.
On March 15th, which is the due date for income tax, we used to have persons working up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning just to cash payments received for the fine. And that was a big challenge for us. We'd have taxpayers in the offices up to 10 in the nights doing filing and payments. We now close on a due date at a regular time.
Mr. Paul was speaking during a technical briefing on day one of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Diplomatic Week on Monday. The Commissioner General added that the TAJ is moving in a digital direction, adding that the public has welcomed the addition of other digital services, such as the payment of traffic tickets online. Those are some of the top stories making news this week. I'm Jada Francis.
The GOJ News Recap, weekends right here on this station. A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Government pensioners, the Accountant General's Department's Mobile Life Certificate Drive starts on February 27 at Trelawney Parish Library, February 28, the St. Anne Parish Library, March 1, St. Catherine Parish Library in Spanish Town, March 3, Morant Villas in St. Thomas and Hanover Parish Library, March 4, Westmoreland Parish Library, March 6, St. Mary Parish Library, March 7, St. James Methodist Church in Maypen, March 8, the Greater Portmore Library, March 10, St. Matthew's Anglican Church in Santa Cruz, March 11, our final stop will be at the Portland Parish Library in Port Antonio. Remember, life certificates can be submitted at the St. James and Manchester Parish Libraries, Ministry of Finance, and the AGD office at 21 Dominica Drive using the Dropbox.
This is NRP, the Big Bad Gospel Radio Station.
This is NRP.
Hi, I'm VOA's Tommy McNeil with your worldwide news update. The on-again, off-again tariffs between the United States and other countries are once again under scrutiny, with the U.S. president not budging.
As of right now, the U.S. places a tariff on metals imported from the European Union. The European Union puts a 50% tariff on U.S. whiskey. U.S. President Donald Trump threatens a 200% tariff on European wine, champagne, and spirits.
We've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore.
The U.S. imposes 25% tariffs on Canadian metals and an April tariff on lumber, dairy products, and cars. Canada levies, then withdraws tariffs on electricity exports, but keeps tariffs on $21 billion worth of American goods.
We don't need their cars. We don't need their energy. We don't need their lumber.
The U.S. puts a tariff on Mexican foods, but exempts certain items included under the North American Free Trade Pact, signed in President Trump's first term. A tariff on cars from Mexico is also rescinded. Mexico says it will respond on Sunday.
Carolyn Pursuti, VOA News, the White House.
Posting on his Truth social media site Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump said that there's a very good chance that the war in Ukraine can finally come to an end. This after Russian President Vladimir Putin met with U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff to discuss a 30-day ceasefire proposal. On Thursday, Putin said that he supported a truce in principle, but details needed to be discussed. That same day, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Putin is essentially preparing to reject the ceasefire. According to U.S. CENTCOM, its forces, along with Iraqi intelligence and security forces, conducted a precision airstrike in El Anbar province that killed the global ISIS No. 2 leader, chief of global operations in the delegated committee Emir Abdallah Maki Musla El-Rifai, also known as Abu Khadija. This is VOA News. The U.S. Congress has averted a government shutdown, with the Senate approving a House spending bill referred to as a continuing resolution, or CR, that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer deeply criticized. Despite Schumer's expressed reservations, U.S. President Donald Trump praised him, saying he did the right thing. The measure will fund the government through the fall. In his first speech as Canada's Prime Minister, Mark Carney addressed the country's ongoing trade standoff with U.S. President Donald Trump, saying negativity won't win a trade war. VOA's Christina Menente has more.
Mark Carney is officially Canada's 24th Prime Minister, having been sworn in at a ceremony in Ottawa Friday morning. Audio from C-SPAN.
I, Mark Carney, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, and to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trust reposed in me as Prime Minister.
The former governor of the Bank of Canada and Bank of England boss now faces one of his toughest challenges as Prime Minister, an escalating trade war with the United States, Canada's biggest trading partner. Speaking with reporters, Carney said he plans to visit France and the United Kingdom to meet with leaders there, emphasizing the need to strengthen security and diversify trade partnerships. As for a meeting with Donald Trump, Carney says he has no plans for now, but will do so, quote, at the appropriate moment. Christina Menente, VOA News.
South Africa's ambassador to the United States is no longer welcome in the country, according to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. VOA's Alexis Strope tells us why.
Rubio accused Ibrahim Rasool of being a race-baiting politician and declared him persona non grata. No additional details were available from the State Department. An executive order was signed in early February by President Donald Trump that cut aid to the black-led South African government. Trump said South Africa's white Afrikaners were targeted in a new law that allows the government to expropriate private land.
There is a renewed effort to bring home 2 astronauts marooned on the International Space Station since June. SpaceX launched a rocket Friday, carrying 4 astronauts to replace Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, whose Boeing Starliner capsule malfunctioned. Their mission was supposed to last a week, but has resulted in the pair being stuck for 9 months. That wraps up this update, but the world and news never stop. For additional updates, visit our website at voanews.com. I'm Tommy McNeil, VOA News.
This is NRP, the Big Bad Gospel Radio Station.
This is NRP.
There's always a word in time to meet all your conditions. And right here on nrpmediaja.com, it's no different. Join the NRP